Today we're making a delicious homemade chicken pie. This is one of those pies that when you serve it up to guests, they always seem to leave with a copy of the recipe. Hi, I'm Taryn. Welcome to my kitchen studio. This is where I like to have fun with food and teach others simple cooking tips and tricks. Today we're going to make a delicious chicken pie. This pie is very easy to make, especially if you have some leftover shredded chicken. Another bonus is that you can use any vegetables in this pie, so go digging around in the depths of your fridge and see what you can find. I'll show you how I prepare the vegetables and make a cheesy white sauce to bind it. Then I'll show you how to put it all together and bake it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. On this channel, I like to share tips and tricks that make your life easier in the kitchen and give your creations a more professional touch. If this is something you're into, don't forget to subscribe. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. I'll leave the recipe in the description below. These are the ingredients we need. Some shredded chicken. You can use leftovers from a recent roast dinner, or buy some pre-cooked roast chicken and shred it, or even just cook up some specially for this pie. Got some bacon and a selection of vegetables. I've got some silverbeet, sometimes known as Swiss chard, some carrots, onion, mushrooms, garlic, and a red capsicum. My herbs are thyme today. You can change these up, use some leeks or use some leftover roast vegetables, whatever you've got lurking in the fridge. And then we've got our white sauce ingredients. So there's some flour, butter, milk, cream to add a bit of richness, and some cheese, salt and pepper, mustard, and of course our flaky puff pastry. Let's prepare our vegetables. I'm going to slice, dice and chop these into some nice little pieces. We don't want any big hunks because they won't cook through during the cooking process. I'll leave a link in the description below to a video that's got all these different cuts in a lot more detail. I'm going to chiffonade or shred the silverbeet. I'm going to dice the carrots. I'm going to slice the onions. I'm going to slice the mushrooms. I'm going to cut off the top of the capsicum, pull out the stalk and seeds, and then dice it. I'm going to finely chop the thyme. Now we'll crush the garlic. And lastly, we'll dice the bacon. I'm doing the bacon last so that I don't have raw meat all over my vegetables. Now we'll fry the bacon in a little splash of oil. Fry it until it's browned and crispy. Then I'll pop it here on some paper towel to drain the excess fat. Now I'll add another splash of oil to the pan, and we can start by adding the harder vegetables. I'm going to put in the onion, the carrot, and also the fragrant thyme and garlic. Give it a little fry around. Then add the softer vegetables, the mushrooms and the capsicum. They don't cook as long. Fry until the liquid is absorbed. Then add the leafy greens. We can also add the chicken and bacon in now and give it a good stir around. Doesn't that look colourful? Now we can put it to the side while we make our cheesy white sauce. In a separate pot, heat the butter. Once the butter has melted, add the flour. Then cook it for at least 4 minutes. Be careful not to let it go brown. Turn off the heat and slowly pour in the milk. Whisk continuously to avoid lumps. Whisk in the cream and cheese until the mixture thickens. Stir in the mustard and don't forget to season with salt and pepper. Our sauce is ready, so now we can pour it over our pie mix and mix it all together. And now it's ready to put into our pastry. The pastry I buy comes in a long roll, so I've chosen a long dish to put it into. Sometimes it might come in more of a square shape, so then you'd be better to choose a square dish to put it into. I'm going to give my dish a little spray with some non-stick spray. I'm going to fold the pastry not quite in half, and then the bigger piece will go in the base of the bowl and up the sides a wee bit, and the smaller piece will form the lid. I'm going to give it a little roll just to make it slightly bigger. And now we're ready to scoop in that delicious pie filling. Push the mixture into the corners, keeping the edges of the pastry nice and clean. This will help the lid to stick better and keep it nicely piled up in the middle here. And now we can put on our lid. Push that down over the filling. When you can see the two sheets of pastry all the way around, then you can squeeze it with a fork just to get those two layers to stick together. Then I'm going to cut off these corner pieces just to neaten it up a little, and we can use this little piece to make a wee shape for the top. Isn't that traditional? Give it a few air holes with a fork. Lets the air escape in the baking process. And we'll add some egg wash to the top. That'll stick our little shape and help it to brown nicely in the oven. This is now ready for the oven. I've got my oven preheated nice and hot. You do need a hot oven to let the pastry puff up. It should take about 40 minutes. Here's our chicken pie straight from the oven. It's beautifully golden on top and so tempting to dig straight in. Just let it cool at room temperature for about 15 minutes, and then it will give it a chance to firm up a little and it will serve beautifully. So dinner's done. If you found this video helpful, you can help me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Enjoy!